Everything's okay.
Yeah, yep, everything's great.
So for the fight fans, I am Brandon May from MMA Freaks and Nick Portella, MMA.com. And today I will be talking to Tony Basile, longtime jiu-jitsu coach for current strawweight UFC champion Thug Rose Namajunas. And congrats to the team on a great performance.
Yeah, thank you. I tell you, players make coaches. She did a phenomenal job. I'd be more proud.
I was very impressed.
Yeah, Rose is she's one of those unique athletes that tends to absorb the attributes of whoever she's fighting. You kind of look back in her career and notice that. So we felt really strong that she would do well on her feet no matter how many rounds. And I tell you, I think we saw the best version of Joanna. That was a really tough Joanna. I mean, for her to make that kind of turnaround after getting knocked out, we knew it right away. She was on her game, so we couldn't be more proud of her.
Yeah, she looked pretty good too. Nothing against her at all.
Yeah, I really thought she looked sharp, actually. I mean, we thought she was going to come out a lot more flat. We instantly noticed the adjustments she made the first minute of the fight. We noticed that she must put a lot of time in her footwork, and was actually kind of shocked on, even though, she's such a great striker, to be able to get back to some of the basics that I think she got away from a little bit as her career went on, and tighten those up, and mainly the footwork and her range was actually much improved from the first fight for sure, and even her prior fights if you look at it. She had a lot more movement. Rose definitely brought out a better side of her. So it was a great fight.
So was it the coach's game plan, or was it a Rose decision to go 5 rounds pretty much all on the feet?
No, well, we've said from day one, you could go back from a long time ago with Pat Barry, that Rose is all MMA. So we've never wanted to say in any fight we've been in that we have to stand up or we have to go to the ground. It's more of the philosophy, wherever the fight goes, we'll be ready to go there. And it takes a long time to build that up, to build up each category from wrestling to jiu-jitsu to striking. And we are looking at styles make fights, and there's many examples throughout time of, Antonio Tarver against Roy Jones Jr., Evander Holyfield with Tyson. He used to always say that he had the style to beat Tyson. And we just knew we've been training to beat Joanna since Rose, lost that fight against Esparza, and then she'd beaten Esparza. So it's classical Muay Thai against more American boxing that's been tailor-cut more for MMA. And then we have that takedown that she gets late, and that was definitely planned to use that to try to stamp anything just in case. And Rose is so good at that takedown. We've never seen she's so sneaky with it that we knew we could get that. And we just wanted to make sure that when we went for it was going to be the right time. And again, players and coaches, Rose just knows when to go. I mean, we were telling her, look for it, be ready, get it if you see it, But we've always said, if you need us coaching at the fight, then something's going wrong, as far as if we're yelling at you to do stuff all the time. She knows what to do, and we have a lot of trust in what she's going to do at that moment in time. But she always amazes me that she's able to have such great timing on, even that. I think she won the fight before that. I had it 4 rounds to 1. I talked to Dana before I went in, before they announced the decision. I said, Mr. White, what do you got it at? And, he said he had it 2-2 going into the 5th, and then Rose went in the 5th. So he had it a little closer. I still haven't watched it yet. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I've heard it's even more exciting to watch it again. It's, from the other corners that were with me, Pat and Trevor, they're like, you got to watch it. So we're going to watch it again tonight. But, yeah, exciting, man. And then events leading up to it, too, just made it all that much more interesting. So.
Oh, yeah. We all know about that.
Yeah. So that was definitely, just another wrench in the week, and we're kind of used to it. The first time in New York, it was like a lot of hectic things going on. No one could expect Conor McGregor though to attack your bus, so that was definitely.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying, if you need the coaches there to tell you what to do, you're not doing something right. I've always personally thought that the coaches are more there for like a mental support.
Absolutely. I mean, if there's an adjustment that needs to be made, definitely. It's our job to try to go to remind plan B, plan C. But I've seen so many coaches through the years lose fights for their fighters potentially, where a fight's real close, and it's hard to say who's winning, who's losing. And they're so eager and anxious for their fighter to do well that they'll start barking at them, thinking, keep your hands up, go to the body. They start telling them what to do. And when the fighter's not doing it, the judges will hear your urgency with them. And there's an art to it for sure. Just making sure that you're not making it look like the fighter's losing too by yelling at him. Get the takedown, Rose. Get the takedown. And then she's not doing the takedown for 2-3 rounds. Judges look at it like you're losing the fight. So you got to leave it up to the fighter. The coaches, all their job's done. Our job's been done. Going into the fight, all the way up to where we give the hugs and she gets locked in that cage. She's on her own then, and then we get a brief minute if we can. They make an adjustment, but more than anything, just try to encourage. And, Trevor, you having fun, Rose? You having fun? He kept asking her. And then by the 5th round, he asked her again. She's like, yeah. It didn't look like it was as much fun anymore. But at the same time, the first round, she put her hands up. She's having a great time, actually. And that's what we want to see. And she really, was having trouble getting on. And it was definitely the Connor incident. I think she had a big adrenaline dump the night before. The day before the weigh-ins, and it just, sometimes when things like that happen, a lot of excitement the day before, it's hard to get into your rhythm. So we were actually having trouble before the fight. We were getting a little bit worried that she wasn't going to turn it on for a second. She always does. And then, boy, Pat Barry, that's the guy you want in the foxhole with you.
Pat Barry.
He got in her face. It was like, man, this is it. You turn it on. And he just got on, and she obviously turned it on. And it's just a great chemist. Trevor Whitman, the guy's a genius at boxing. I mean, just for boxing for MMA, there is just no one better. And I mean, he's got world championship status. He's also coached other greats, but he'll tell you nobody moves like Rose. Like she makes his system look phenomenal. And I just don't think regular Muay Thai stands up that well against it. Going back to the styles, and the head movement and the angle cutting and the leg kicks. With Joanna, those were very light. Those got a lot more credit than Rose's leg isn't even really that bruised up. You know what I mean? They weren't those thuds that where it hurts and it starts really taking the legs out.
Yeah, I mean, I saw those, but they didn't look like they were doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, acquired at the end. Rose started moving her feet a little bit. You'll hear us yelling, "Get your feet moving!" And looking back, definitely they take their toll. But if those things are hitting on bone, we take 4 or 5 of them to make a serious impact on the movement of the person receiving them. And that just wasn't the case with Rose. She was fine with them, and we weren't even icing them in the corner. We weren't worried about it at all because they're just slaps, and definitely don't want to be taking a bunch of those, but I hardly consider those significant. And so when I lost it, I just, was when being there, of course, I was completely figuring you got to take it from the champ. You can almost argue she won every round if you got to take it from the champ, much like the Nunez-Valentina fight, But, yeah, we couldn't be happier, and she's going to be champ for a while. We feel, probably won't be looking for anything until we're really excited about the 25th anniversary. I don't know if you know about 25th anniversary UFC will be in Denver, it's looking like, because that's where this all started, man, was Denver, 1993. And what makes Rose really unique is that she actually won Denver's first UFC belt ever. So she's the hope is, we wanted to win this fight and be able to defend it in November, and here in Denver, and that's kind of what we're pushing for. And then she won it at 303 of the first round, which is Denver's area code, also the name of my gym, her gym. So, but it's just a lot of coincidences and so this fight was really important that it wasn't just a fluke. A lot of people call the first one a fluke, and I think she proved, she's the better fighter, no doubt, hands down.
Well, I definitely said from the beginning it was not a fluke. I backed her in both fights.
If you know Rose, you had to. You would see it. A lot of people, I think, just didn't know her capabilities maybe. And, I know a lot of people were backing her for this one too, but it was a great support. Because, even if you don't, you're a champion, So people the good guys don't always win.
It's nice to see such a humble champion.
Yeah, she's definitely humble. Like right now, people want interviews with them, and she's just in her house. She does they know all their neighbors. It's like Joe DiMaggio in the 50s, you know. She's just real blue collar, you know. She's at the gym every day, and it's kind of a little discouraged right now. I'd like to see the UFC take care of her, though, coming up here. We'll see what happens, but, you know, we've found out women athletes don't get paid very well. You can go down the board, and it's sponsors that pay them. Very few women athletes make money with their athletics. You know, it's entertainment. Not many people are that into where golf and tennis, it's more the sponsorship. So the Williams sisters, you know, I'm not sure what Wimbledon pays. You win the tournament, you win a lot of money. But it still, you know, pales in comparison to athletics of the men. So we just didn't know that until we started looking at this. The highest paid females like Ronda Rousey and Joanna made $6 million during her career. So we're just looking at, you know, what the future's going to hold for Rose.
Make $1 million per fight at least, or you'll get sports even. Look at football. Look how much they get paid.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I think today's like Equal Rights Day or something too. So we're kind of like, oh, hey, man, you know, you got to earn in the fights. I mean, her fight person, I think, is $300,000, and you got to look at the pay-per-view buys eventually because the champ gets pay-per-view buys. So we'll see what those turn out to be. But, you know, it's something that, you know, she's got a bright future here and a great face for the UFC, and she really means well and is a humble person. And I think that's what the people want to see. You get a little bit sick of all the showboating and flashiness, and you need that too. So it's just a good contrast. It's nice to have the other side on top for a minute.
It is. So let's go to round 5 of the fight.
Yeah.
So after rounds 3 and 4, Joanna started picking up with leg kicks. So Rose stood in front of Joanna more aggressive and started just pushing and going and was the aggressor. So what was the deal with that? Was the leg kicks doing damage, or was she...
Well, no, it's like I said before. I mean, I think they did slow down a little in the 5th looking back, you know, but really we kind of went with the mentality that, you know, go get it. This is it. Take it. You're better than her. You can run faster than her. You can jump higher than her. You can run backwards better than her. Play basketball, you name it. So just go get her. She can't hurt you. You don't want to knock nobody out. Like her bobbing and weaving in her head and her reflexes, 25 years old. She's hard to hit. So if they get in a showdown, swinging, and Rose is going forward, Muay Thai don't work that well going backwards a lot of times, you know? And nobody does really, but boxing's a little more equipped sometimes to fight going backwards. And so we knew if it was going to be close and potentially, you know, Joanna started taking, I think people argue maybe the 3rd and 4th, you know. But we wanted to go out swinging for sure, you know. And I think more people were like, why didn't you take her down earlier and things like that. And you know, Joanna, if you watch her, and we've been spending a long time, she steals momentum when you do that. I mean, even on the last takedown, if you notice the way she's getting up, normally we would have let her go right there because what she does, she starts elbowing you and hurting you as you're getting up after you get the takedown as you're trying to hold her down. You know, so we want to be sneaky with the takedown. We want to go forward, get her moving backwards, and just bust her up. I mean, go get her, Rose. This girl's been talking crap. I mean, she has been disrespecting you. Enough is enough. You know, it's stay in front of her. What's she going to do to you? You know, and I really think Rose has had enough in a lot of senses. You can go back from the first fight that, you know, she's not Rose. You just don't bully her. She might be sweet and humble, but there's another side of that woman that we all know at 303 on the mat that she's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu and boxes with Olympic boxers and holds her own and Olympic wrestlers off the alternate team and judo black belts and you name it, man. She holds her own with everybody and in all aspects of the sport and in the martial arts. So, you know, yeah, we wanted to see it, and I do want to watch it again. I got to see the 4th round. What did you think of the 4th round? That's the one I'm hearing. Maybe she didn't look. She looked like she might have been in trouble.
The 4th round, because Joanna started with the leg kicks in the 3rd.
Yep.
Round 3 was close, could have gone either way, and then round 4 was I don't think it was really anything to hurt Rose. It was just more of the same with the leg kicks, and you started picking up the pace in the champion round.
Right.
Like people thought Rose was maybe starting to fade.
Right. I could see that and see people thinking that for sure, and that's too as far as not her fading, but just that's where Rose has been untested. She hasn't come back through adversity, you know, and she hasn't been busted up that much. She hasn't been hit that much, you know. She's really good at avoiding damage. So, She didn't take a lot of damage, but she definitely got both eyes blackened. Definitely took some leg kicks, and and she fought through it and got stronger as it went on, is what we all saw. And that was something we didn't know as a corner. We knew that Joanna had two things on us: experience, and she could come back through adversity. And those are two things we needed to, we weren't sure if Rose, could get those done against her. That was the only questions we had. Besides everything else, Rose got to beat. So once she took over there, we knew we won the fight. We're like, yep, she didn't fold. She got stronger. And, if the UFC can make her happy, she'll be here for a long time, But this whole Conor McGregor incident and everything else, you got her freaked out, man. They definitely got to take care of her and make sure that, this is a good young champion here. And she's got a lot of pull in the UFC outside of the UFC with her causes and whatnot.
A fighter, too.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to think.
True. She has not hit her peak yet.
She's 25 champ, and like you just said, she's not in her peak.
Yeah. She should be hitting it right. Yeah, she turns 26 in June, so usually women right through 26 to 29, real close to men. I think men still are peaking right in the 31, 32. And Joanna's 31. She might be a little past her prime, just a little bit too. You know what I mean? And I still think that was the best Joanna. We've been studying our film for a long time. And that was the best Joanna we've seen in a while. She was almost like old Joanna. That's where she even showed up a little more pale than she normally does. Remember old Joanna, all pale and come out and just all business and kick your butt, and that was the Joanna we wanted to face. I mean, it's very rare you get these opportunities, and sometimes people win championships by flukes or they just happen to go on this run, but. I think we got something special with Rose, maybe. It's very unique athlete, and she's been through a lot now. I'm telling you, she's been ups and downs. She birthed this whole division. They called her the next Ronda Rousey. That whole show, Tough 20, was basically.
Oh man.
She was the starlight of that, and shaves her head, and man, fans just love her. We're almost scared of the fame that she might run into because, that's not why she's doing it. She don't care. Like we saw Claudia Gadelha, and don't get me wrong, I think it's beautiful. It's, in the lingerie shot in the mirror and all this and that. It's great, right? But you never see Rose.
I'll be seeing Claudia at UFC 225 in Chicago.
Yeah, and she's, I'm the first degree black belt, in jiu-jitsu, and she's the one that, for a while we didn't know, would it be us focusing on Joanna or Claudia, So we're always focusing on Claudia too, because she's the best jiu-jitsu grappler in the division, we thought. But I would put my money on Rose. I've been grappling a long time, man. I watched Rose. Rose's been grappling since she's 14. And people give Claudia a lot of credit on her grappling, and I see it. She's good. But Rose, man, she's new age athlete grappler, American style, seriously good in the transitions and great attacks that are unorthodox, that you're not ready for. And sometimes people like Claudia and just regular jiu-jitsu MMA, they're still doing some old school jiu-jitsu stuff. And it would be interesting to see, And Andrade is 4'11", so we're not too. People really think she's somebody that would just walk through a Rose potentially. I heard Rogan talking that, and it's like, man, she leaves herself wide open.
She's
going to eat right hands like crazy.
The Andrade fight.
Yeah, and if she takes Rose down, she might get choked on the transition. She's different. Claudia is a different kind of grappler. She's more of a traditional jiu-jitsu grappler. And that's not necessarily great for MMA. I mean, it's these days in MMA. If you look at, for example, Werdum, guys like that, they're amazing at what they do, and it's still real hard for them to ever get a submission. It's just one of those things that it's easier to get out of one than to get into one. So they both have terrible stand-up. I mean, they just do, and they're light years behind. And honestly, they look uncoordinated when they punch, a lot of them, and that's why Joanna looks so great sometimes. She didn't really face that many strikers. And Rose is going to have the same issue. You know who we think is really good?
Who?
It's coming up the division is Alexis Grasso. That's the new style fighter that we're – Oh, yeah, and she might have just come off a loss, but that style, she's got fight handlers. She's not part of a fight team. She's not this old school way of thinking. She's got these fight handlers, and it's a family, and it's boxing for MMA and good jiu-jitsu, and that's the style coming up with good wrestling and striking, boxing mixed with Muay Thai kicks and such. But all the other division coming up, every other girl, I'm just not seeing a whole lot of, diversity. And, Carolina's tough. We'd like to get a rematch there. We didn't have Pat for that fight. And Rose was like.
That Carolina Felice Herrig fight, that was fantastic.
That was great. Yeah, that was a fantastic fight. And I love both those girls. They bring it, And Felice, really, you can tell her heart and her improvement. Each fight has been exceptional, but Carolina just gets stronger as the fight goes on. And her ability to grab the clinch is uncanny. She is good at it. And, I think she's the most worthy opponent right now for Rose, that deserves it.
Now, I want that fight.
What's that?
I was going to ask you that, who you thought would be best for Rose next, who you think would be there, but I was thinking maybe because obviously I heard Rose say she wants to take a little bit of time off.
Yeah.
But I've seen as there are worthy challengers, Andrade, Carolina.
Yeah. Yep.
I was thinking maybe those two could fight for the number one contender spot.
That's what we were thinking, exactly. And that could happen. And if Claudia gets motivated again, I think she's the most dangerous still.
I think Claudia's gonna be motivated and walk right through Esparza.
Right, and that's the one I want to see, because in some ways we want the revenge tour. We'd like to get Esparza again too, but only if she's on the way up. Rose just wants to fight the best. We really do. That's why we want to fight Joanna again. There's nobody close to her. She's the best. Now trilogy don't make any sense. We don't care about that now. But
no.
No, we're done focusing our lives around that woman. She's the boogie woman.
That's a
been long enough, man. But them fighting for the contender. I know November seems like a long time away too, and with the right offer, the right thing, I think they can motivate her to fight sooner. But it is such a PTSD thing going through this stuff with her. I mean, just the camps, man. Like, it is truly. To get to this high level and to bring out the best in somebody, they got to have the right environment. And Rose needs to be happy to be at her best. And she's at her best right now because she got her house, Her last 3 fights, she has a home for once. She's never really had, solid roots, She's finally made enough money to get this little humble house. And she loves it like it's a mansion. But it's like, man, she might be too famous for this house. There's people already, you know what I mean? They need to take care of her, I think. And I think if they do that, and I think she's done enough to be taken care of, then, I think she would fight in July, or she would fight again soon. If not, then even as her coaches, we're like, we don't care. We'll fight in November. Bring it back to Denver. We don't have to travel, and bring whoever you want in the world to come fight her. We'll be ready.
That's what I like about Rose, that she's not looking for the easy fight. She wants to fight the best of the best.
Yes. Yeah. Well, what we did last year was the Valentina Shevchenko camp and our camps hooked up, because they're fight handlers too. They're not a fight team. They just handle Valentina, and she's just so strong and tough. And she trained with Rose 24 weeks of the year. That's over half the year.
Ow.
And just brutal, man. She is so brutal. And we knew, because she beat Joanna 3 times in her kickboxing career, that she's just a bigger, stronger, better version than Joanna. So she kept training with Rose because Rose could give her a run for her money. And she would never train with girls before that. Never. Rose is the only girl she's ever trained with, because girls just quit on her. We'd even bring in girls for her to try to help Rose, because Rose would be taking such a beating. And we have some tough girls. And Valentina just chew them up and spit them out, man. We had to bring in guys for them. But Rose, by the end of it, Rose was the one. I mean, every now and then Rose would win a practice. And Valentina would just come back even twice as strong. And what did it all, in Colorado, we got elevation, So if you come here and you grapple us, you might not realize you're going to hit a wall in about 7-8 minutes, or sparring or whatever. And so that happened the first time Rose and Valentina ran into each other. So Rose got the best of her. And boy, once we saw the real Valentina, once she recovered, boy, we started feeling sorry for Rose. It was really tough to go through all that, So Rose does everything she needs to do to get there, and now she knows what it takes to keep it. And then we're in no hurry to defend it unless it's the right deal, right away. I mean, definitely we want Denver, because that's where we're at, and it's a special thing, 25th anniversary. But yeah, if you were telling us to be on the Brock Lesnar Conor card in July, we're there. There's certain things, only the champ gets pay-per-view money, so that's very important.
I thought it was the two main headliners on both sides.
No. So, like, if Joanna, like, it's her deal. But, like, for example, if Rose would have lost this fight, she drops back to her old purse money before she was champ and no pay-per-view.
Wow.
So, yeah. So the rematch ain't worth squat, really. You know, it's if she would have lost. So hats off to Joanna if it wasn't pay-per-view buys. And I have a feeling it's not, because when Dana handed her the belt, he said, this is the key to everything, the first belt. And we're like, what? She came back here, it was nothing. Then when we went and negotiated with him for the new contract, because as a team we negotiate with him, we don't have a manager. So we went down there and talked to him, and you know, it's pay-per-view buys. That's where the money's at. That's how you buy a home. That's how you make millions in this business. And people gotta want to watch you. So he promised her all pay-per-views, and then all these guys fell out of this one. So did you get the pay-per-view buy numbers by any chance? Do you know what it was?
I did not see them. Normally I'd see them by now, but I have not seen them.
Man, if they hit over, I'd say 650, you know, and I don't think they even came close to that, but if they came out about 6 roses, Rose made it. She'd be so happy. You know what I mean? And that's what it would have done with Ferguson on it. So it's because of that, she could have lost out on like half the money.
I want your take on that. You just said Ferguson. I want your take. What would have happened with Khabib Ferguson if they fought? I want your pick.
Yeah, it's, you know, from the looks of Khabib, you got to say Ferguson would have won it, but Khabib didn't prepare for Al Quinta. You know, he didn't prepare for Al. That's tough, man. If you would have thrown in against Rose Andrade all of a sudden, you know, it'd be, oh crap, we didn't run backwards 5 miles for 5 weeks, you know, a day. Because you got to be running backwards. You know, there's a totally different philosophy how you handle people. And even though it seems like, hey, the striker, it's a lot different, you know. And when you're really breaking down film and you look into a guy, and then gangsters like Khabib, they'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. And that's why he is great. But he showed serious weaknesses, and I thought he did against Michael Johnson for sure. Oh. So I thought Holloway was going to beat him. I was going to go, you know, put the house in the boat, so to speak, on Holloway to beat him, actually, because of those striking weaknesses that he shows that we're so familiar with Rose and who we're dealing with. You know, like if Rose was a dude, she'd smoke Khabib. He has terrible technique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd have to tighten that up, man. He'd have to tighten it up, or he would lose. And of course, it's crazy comparison, female male, but I'm just talking styles and you know, you put a 230-pound somebody that moves like Rose at 230. Oh my goodness, you know. So, but yeah, I think Ferguson might have won that one, man. It's hard to say for sure, but
fight.
Yeah. Is it ever going to happen, man?
Dana said that he's never going to schedule it again, but it's almost like you have to.
You almost have to now. Yeah, he also said women would never fight in the UFC, you know.
Yeah.
So,
see, what I've learned with Dana a lot is just take into account the opposite of what he says.
Right. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, man. He really is. I didn't really like him until I got to meet him. It's not like I can make opinion I like him, but I totally had a different opinion of him after I got to sit and eat with him and talk with him. You know?
From the outside, a lot of people don't like him, but we don't get that inside.
Yeah. Well, who's he calling a weasel? I heard him calling someone a weasel. Weasel. That's like,
last I remember hearing weasel was the whole Conor Floyd with shows boxing.
Yeah, he's got a foul mouth. You wouldn't have the NFL commissioner talking like that. You know what I mean? So he kind of takes people. People don't always take what he says very good, and it's hard to blame him, you know. But I like him actually. I think he does good for the UFC, and he don't put up with no crap. He don't.
No, he's straight business, no bullshit.
And then I got to ask you one more thing too here. The Conor, did you know if he got felony charges put against him?
I saw he had 3 official charges. I don't remember what they were, but I saw 3 because he did get put in jail. He turned himself in.
Yeah, we saw that. He actually sent
$50,000 bond.
Whew.
And then I saw he had 3 charges, and I could have swore I saw something about a felony in there. And then I saw about a couple of fighters were going to sue him.
Yeah, I mean, Dan told old Bus to him. I was on the bus, and it's like, it's one of those things, man. It was hard to believe it was that you like if you went and did that, you'd be in jail still. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. You attacked a bus and broke the windows. I don't know. It's definitely not a good thing for the sport. But a lot of people thought it was fixed or thrown or something like that. I saw. Heck, dude.
Not fixed.
Not at all. If that's fixed, boy, I'm still in UFC. Everybody, he could have hurt somebody. He did hurt people. Like, I was right there.
So, question about you here.
Yeah.
So you're a BJJ black belt under Carlos Gracie Jr., correct?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been a black belt?
Since 2013.
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah. Then you get your stripes on your belt after 3, so those just mean you're getting older. So I'll let those for you. You see a black belt with a bunch of stripes, it just means you're getting old.
Getting old.
Yeah, man. It was my dream to really just run a gym. I brought it back to my hometown. You know, it's one of those things. I did jiu-jitsu. I was like, man, I love this, and started back in 2004. And it was like, how does people not know about this? Like, if I love this, everybody's got to want to pay for this. I mean, I guess I was kind of arrogant like that. And then I, started off just at the gym, paying and cleaning and running the intros. But my whole incentive was to run a gym. And so by the time I was a brown belt, it's like the Old West out here in Colorado. You had to stake your little claim in Denver before it blew up. And so I got right in the heart of a good little suburb that I grew up around, and got to just help out the mailman and the regular guy. And we got 4-year-olds up 2 rows, and it's very family-oriented gym. You want to see people with their shirts off running around, stuff like that. But at the same time, man, some tough guys, some of the toughest guys in Colorado, man. You just would never guess on some of them because it's humble.
I got 7 years of wrestling now under my belt.
Nice.
I know a little bit about jiu-jitsu and boxing, but I'm not like training in those aspects.
Well, if you wrestle, it's the hips and it's just grappling. I mean, especially in self-defense, it's just one-on-one situations, grappling. Yeah. So jiu-jitsu, yeah, you should try some jiu-jitsu, man. I've seen it change people's lives. Why do it? You should.
Around with my buddies sometimes, and I usually am a winner.
Well, you wrestled.
I usually roll around with wrestlers too, but
yeah.
it's always a little unfair.
Yeah. Well, you're an athlete. Wrestlers are athletes. See, if I could only pick 155er in all of Westminster, and just a couple, then it would represent jiu-jitsu a little different. But, so that's why I'm excited. Like, we try to get a lot of these American athletes right now that doing other sports, get them young and get them doing jiu-jitsu. And very competitive. We have this competitive charity team that's philanthropy, use your art to raise money. Then they grapple for St. Jude's and travel around the world. Rose is on the team. They're called the Namajunas, which is an African cichlid that doesn't look very tough, but they're ounce for ounce, they're the toughest fish there is. But they don't eat fish. They just fight. They're freshwater fish. They're unassuming, humble fish, and it's just jiu-jitsu, the culture of it, from little kids to UFC champions. It really is a cool thing to be a part of because it is so rooted with the UFC still. And just that's where it all started was jiu-jitsu, so it'll always be a part of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're I want to say Kentucky?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, sorry. Yeah, I've been doing a couple interviews. So okay, Wisconsin now. You close to the Illinois border there?
I'm about 2 hours from the border.
Okay, yeah, I had a lot of family in Rockford, Illinois. I used to go up to the Dells up there in Wisconsin.
I got some family in the Chicago area as well.
Yeah, it's like Beirut over there back in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm not too far from Duke's, actually.
Yeah, those guys still have the beef with Pat and Rose a little bit.
Really? You have beef with them? That's interesting.
Well, remember back in the day, Pat and Rose were with them at one point in
Yeah.
time, and they had a falling out, and then a fighter died over there. Remember that?
No, I don't know about that. I knew they had the start over there.
Yeah, there was about 3 years ago. Somebody died in a boxing event, a kickboxing event.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, beef, and then it got with some of the UFCs, and even to the point of this UFC with Pettis being on the card, we're like, man,